So I just got the message that you're streaming.
Okay.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is 9:01 a.m. I'm going to call this meeting of the Codington County Board of Commissioners to order. It is Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Cindy, would you lead us today?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. We are streaming live on YouTube. If you have a cell phone, if you can silence it. If you need to take a call, step out into the hallway, please. Item number 2, call for public comment. We will still take comments from individuals on items that are not on the agenda, and for information only, the 2 phone numbers are 605-882-6248 and 605-882-6297, and we will address those during the open part of our meeting. Item number 3. Also, I will mention that Lee Gable is joining us by Zoom this morning, so he will be participating in that manner. Item number 3, conflict of interest items. Are there any for fellow commissioners?
No.
Okay, item number 4, action to approve the August 2nd, 2022 agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Van Duzen.
Second.
Second by Waterman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item number 5, action to approve the July 26th, 2022 minutes of the Codington County Board of Commissioners.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Johnson, second by Waterman. Any additions or corrections? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We'll move on to monthly reports with our Veteran Service Officer. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning. Okay, so 0 transports in the month of July, 2 currently scheduled for August. We did get the graphics installed on the back side windows that showed the sponsors and that was donated by Sign Pro. They made it, put it on, and so that was very nice of them. I did coordinate 1 transport with the Rides to Wellness grant. That gentleman was out of South Shore, so that worked really well from that standpoint. In reference to our DAV Ford Explorer, I've talked with Cindy a little bit on this to try to figure out, when that was bought back in, or how it was bought, or how, anyway, it shows up on our property book for like $10,000, but we couldn't find a check per se or anything that we actually donated money to it. So in talking with the DAV headquarters down there in Sioux Falls, the title from the VA has went back to the DAV. They will license it and pay the taxes on it, the 3% tax. And then their thought process, unless there's by chance we want it or whatever, they came up with that they would sell that, and then whoever had provided money or funds in a percentage wise, then they would just pay, if they sold it for 10,000 and we had provided 50% of the equity into it, we should get a check for like $5,000. But we're trying to figure out, they were going to look in their records to see what they would have. But I used an example here that, when we paid roughly $12,119 towards a purchase of the van that we currently just received, that initial cost was $25,672, which roughly gave us about 47% equity, according to my math, if I did it right. So years down the road, when that would be sold again or whatever, that's the process of how I would understand it. It seems kind of very, I don't know, say gray area, vague area of how this was all done years ago, but so I put that in the notes and I put that in my DAV book so that 10 years down the road, we have that information.
Documented this time.
Yeah, from that standpoint. One thing that's new nationally is a new Veterans Crisis Line number. It's dial 988, then press 1. This change was in result to the National Suicide Hotline Designation Act of 2020, which required all telephone services providers in the US to activate a 988 by 16 July of 2022. Future items coming up here is that we have a bridge dedication for US Army Sergeant James Hayter on Saturday, August 13th at 2022 at 10:30 a.m. At the Bernie Edwards Readiness Center here out on Highway 20. The Hayter Bridge will be located on the Big Sioux River on US Highway 212 on the west side of Watertown. Basically over by the the miniature golf area, that one right over there from that standpoint. The security camera, I talked to Steve about us possibly getting that back up and going over there. At least we could track who's coming in, who's going out. So just started working that with him. We do have both panic buttons over there, so they are operational and stuff like that. I'm also going to work on trying to figure out with Steve's guys to put some styrofoam on that the old concession wall window there to try to eliminate some of the basketballs and screens and stuff like that when they're over there. Just it's usually not until later on in the afternoon, but now they have basketball going on in the mornings and have had for a while. It's just kind of try to figure something out with that. I haven't heard anything as far as the chairlift or anything, any new news on that. Myself and Jay will be at the state VSO training, which has already been approved in our budget, but that's 15th through 17 August. And I will be looking at trying to move the file cabinets that are downstairs over there to start trying to decide or try to figure out how to category, record and do that with those things over there. Unless there's any questions.
What day was that bridge dedication again?
That is on August 13th
Okay.
at 10:30 at the Bernie Edwards Readiness Center.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
John. Lee, did you have any questions?
Were we gonna go over his budget at all?
We did that in July.
Oh, we did, okay. I
This
didn't
is
remember.
done.
Okay.
Yep.
Great, that's good, thanks.
All right, item number 7, action to approve a project at the detention center to upgrade door locks and install a panic alarm as budgeted. Good morning, Brad. and Matt.
Morning. How are you guys?
Good, how about you guys?
Good. All right, well, we have a budgeted project for upgrading some of our door locks in our facility here. We're upgrading, was it 5 office doors, a couple doors in the jail, PVCT room, EOC, putting a door on there for Andrew and a door in the jail. And also, we're gonna install a panic alarm in the nurse's station. So if there's something going on there with an inmate, she can hit that and it'll respond accordingly. $14,689.33. This will be added onto our key fob system that we currently have.
All right, very good.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Gable.
Sorry.
Second by Waterman. Any other comments, questions?
This-
Hearing that.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just say, this is something that we've been planning on doing and, it's keeping up with the technology that's necessary.
We did cut it down just a little bit, what we had planned to do this year, just because the prices went up. We did plan for more locks and upgrades next year too, and the jail side, but like I say, due to the pricing and everything, we did kind of drop it down a little bit this year, stay within our budget.
All right. We ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. We have some items that need to be destroyed. Cindy, you want to do it or you're?
These are.
Out of the sheriff's
detention
office.
center And the sheriff's office, a Wrangler floor scrubber and 2 ProDesk computers to be destroyed.
So move.
Motion by Johnson,
Second.
second by Van Duzen. Comments or questions on that? Thanks, you guys. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. All right, item number 9, action to approve a resolution for the tax deed auction held on July 26th.
I sent out a sample, ignore that at the top, I forgot to change the resolution number, it's resolution 2022 See if I can find it here quick. I think it's 18. Yes, 2022-18. It's the tax deed property resolution for the property that we sold at last week's meeting. It just indicates the legal description, who the successful bidder was, and the price that was paid. And this has been paid at the treasurer's office. So the first thing to do would be to approve the resolution of the
I'll
sale.
make a motion to approve the resolution with the amended resolution number at the top, 22-18.
Right, motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Any other comments or questions on that? Not hearing any, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
And then you just need to authorize me to issue a quick claim deed at the registered deeds office for this property.
So move.
Item number 10, motion by Johnson,
Second.
second by Waterman. Any other comments or questions on that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Item number 11, action to approve ARPA funds operating cash transfer, July payroll.
So we are going to transfer a total of $601,157.42 out of the ARPA funds. We will be transferring $485,731.48 to the general fund, and that is less a couple of salaries that are covered by grants. The amount to transfer to the highway fund is $107,833.13. And then the crime victims fund, $5,209.94, and that is for July payroll costs.
So move.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I got a motion by Johnson. I'll take your second, Lee. Any comments or questions on that? Not here.
Cindy, just a quick question. So where you wrote disallowed on here, those are the things that are covered by other grants, correct?
Yeah, that's WIC and emergency management. Yes, we get grant funding for that, so we are not even going to mess with that. And then those other two on there are the COPS grant and the community health worker grant.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 12, action to authorize hiring a part-time employee for election work as needed.
And this would be, it'll be based on how many people we have coming in to early vote. You have authorized this for me before, just a part-time clerical position to help with sorting through all the absentees that come into the office.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by
second
Van
it.
Duzen, second by Johnson. Comments, questions on that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. We don't have to worry about item number 13.
Just burn
Item,
ban.
did you say something?
Yeah, I just wanted, so people, if they don't have the agenda and they're watching, it's the discussion, possible action to enact a burn ban.
Okay. Item number 14, we're going to do a review of 2023 budget requests, and we have Luke here, so we will do the planning budget this morning with him.
I printed off the page in case you didn't want to thumb through.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, save you the flipping through.
Thank you for doing that.
All right. Intimidating, two of them. All right. Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning,
As Commissioner Hanton noted, just here to do a brief presentation summary of the planning board budget. I'll start with the end, basically. Proposing a $456 increase from last year. Basically leaving it the same, I guess, is what it amounts to. I go line by line, but the reality is where the only increase is coming from is because with Commissioner Hanton not planning on running for county commissioner, regardless of if she remains as a citizen appointee as she sits right now, citizen appointees get paid. So that's basically where it comes from, is just we're going to have a citizen representative on that board, we're gonna have to pay them, and we haven't been paying her or Myron because they sit on the board. So that's where the basic increase comes from. Otherwise, I did adjust publishing cost on there because I've been tracking a couple of line items we've got here, and they duplicate a little bit as far as where they're budgeted versus where they get paid. And our numbers, I've been budgeting 3,000. It's been closer to 2,500. So I put that in there. Hopefully it hits that. The only thing I will say from a to conclude on that, from a revenue to expense side, is that we're probably running in the neighborhood of 90% covered, not counting big projects that come in. You know, obviously you're well aware we've pulled in with the wind projects, you know, a lot more than we're asking for out of permits overall or out of our budget. But when you talk about the general projects that we see, we're probably in about 90%. And a lot of that comes from work that's been done over the years with ordinance amendments to make them so that life is a little bit easier on the public, so that they don't have to go to the board for things that we know we're going to say yes for anyway. Specifically the farmstead exemption, we've turned from 3 variances to just 1 simple request. And there have been a few other variances that we habitually granted that we just turned into special permits that were easy to do. So we're just not seeing quite as many requests at the board. It doesn't mean we're not seeing requests, but when you see at the end of the year, there are less variances or conditional uses. Well, that's why, because we're trying to amend the ordinance in a fashion that allows the public to do the sort of things that we know are allowed by ordinance. We know our board allows. Just trying to get out of the way of those things, but still hold to those sacred cows we've had. That's it.
Simplify the process. All right. Anybody have any other comments or questions for Luke?
Okay. All
I don't believe so. All right.
right, thank you, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
Sure. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Cindy, did you want to go through some of the other ones then today, or what's
You
your
want to?
thoughts?
Yep.
We might as well.
I just don't know how your books are put together. Are they just by account number or?
Well,
Okay, they are. Okay, start at the front of the book then with elections. These are the things that we are required to budget for every year. It's number 120 is what elections are.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So next year is a non-election year, but we always budget something just in case we have a special election, which we have before. So the election budget for 2023 is only $34,000. That's just to cover anything that may come up. Next would be the judicial systems budget. It's number 130 up in the left-hand corner. And we budgeted $90,000 for 2022, and I left that the same for 2023. This is the budget where we pay for jury duty, witnesses, postage for the courts system, the courts, that type of thing. We have a budget of $17,000 in there. You know, the courts do not prepare this budget, so if there's something they want, you know, I just put an amount in there, and I don't know if it'll cover it or not, but.
Typically it has, right? Well, yeah, quite, but yes.
Okay, next would be the collection agency, who collects funds for us on county liens, jail costs, confinement, and court-appointed attorneys. And we've had that budget set at $30,000 for the last few years, and that seems to cover the 27% that they get for collecting our fees for us, which these are fees that we would never be able to collect ourselves. We just don't have the big guns to go after some people, so.
Okay.
Next is the court-appointed attorney budget. So this is a combination of the court-appointed attorney and, do I have that right?
Yeah, and miscellaneous.
We have public defender
Or
on
do
it.
we also have public defender?
Yeah,
I'm not sure that my budget worksheet is reflected like that. I'm gonna have to go and look at
that's
that.
Fund 101.
Yeah, I think
thought
we combined them.
everything into court-appointed attorney.
Yes.
For 692,875.
That's just, Cindy, that's what it looks like, to me, based on going from memory, because I think I was one of.
Okay, all right.
Because there is a zero down here. It
Yeah,
just
because
lists
there
it.
are a number of, yes, there are a
Mhm.
number of unknowns right now on how this is going to proceed.
Yeah.
The next one,
Oh, on that, let's back up to that Fund 101. On the third page of that, there's in bold print, 295,000.
okay, those two added together
That's what that is.
adds up to that
Okay.
court appointed, you're right. Yep, you are correct. I didn't realize both sheets were here. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we have the abused and neglected child fund, which we have not paid anything out of in recent years, but we do budget $3,000 for that in the event we need it. Budget 155 is a catastrophic legal fee, and that is the pool we belong to protect us against large public defender or court-appointed attorney charges. Next is the predatory animal, and there is a explanation sheet of that. That is an amount that we have to pay to the state of South Dakota for the state's animal damage control fund. The amount Codington County pays is $5,059.10, and I just rounded that up to 5,500 just to be safe. The next budget, we are self-insured for unemployment. So we budget $10,000 for that. You can see our expenditures in 2020 and 2021 were 4,600 in 2020 and 3,800 in 2021. For 2022, we have not had any unemployment claims to date.
Okay.
Next, I think you guys have Watertown Transit,
Youth at risk.
youth at risk.
And then
Okay,
Memorial
so
Day,
I'm not sure where she put,
I think that's under here. It's a
All right.
non-mandates. Yep.
so youth at risk. And I think Matt already covered this one last week. That's $5,000.
Yeah.
General
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day is $150.
Yep.
That we cover for the, I don't know if it's the VFW or the American Legion for decorating graves for Memorial Day.
Waterfowl.
Waterfowl production. And a little bit, okay, there's Memorial Day. Waterfowl's production is, there is a number of acres of land in Codington County that have been set aside in waterfowl production status, I guess you could call it. We receive a payment in lieu of taxes from the federal government each year. And then we apportion it out to the taxing districts who have this property within their boundaries. So some goes to the school, some to the townships. I think there's one township who receives less than $1, but it's something we're required to do. And
Yeah.
what do you have next?
Water District, Water Conservation
Oh,
District.
flood monitoring.
Yep.
Okay. And those are for the flood stations that we have.
Oh, I don't have
I
that.
have domestic
Page 60.
abuse.
I have
Page-
domestic abuse.
It was right beef.
No,
No,
I don't
not
have,
on mine.
not on mine either.
Okay.
Page 60.
It's on the screen if you're looking for it. I got it up on the screen.
Okay, it's our flood monitoring stations north of Watertown for $12,000. We may have, it may have got slipped in somewhere else in your book, but. And then we have the domestic abuse. Is that $15,000 on your page? Okay, that is the amount that from fees we collect for divorce fees, marriage license fees, those type of things that gets remitted to us. And then we pay that out to the Beacon Center, which the county has previously appointed as our recipient of domestic abuse fees. We also have domestic abuse in the general fund that we actually budget $12,000 for them in the general fund also.
Now the
Okay.
nonprofit.
Nonprofits?
Mhm.
Okay. So what is the first one?
Transit.
Transit.
Watertown Transit, okay. All right, this is an amount we budget for Watertown Transit, $30,000 plus another 5,000 in the event of a purchase of a new van. There is an explanation sheet from them in the packet. And I believe that amount has remained the same since 2020. For 2 years now, for 3 years,
Yeah.
2021 through 2023, $35,000. The Humane Society has requested $19,000 for pay 2023, and that is an increase of $4,000 from this year. There's also an explanation sheet from them in your binders. Then we have ICAP, the Community Service Worker. They have requested $14,554. And then we have the Senior Aid Companion, $1,500. Senior Aid Companion has remained constant at $1,500 for quite some time. And the Community Service Worker increases slightly each year for what's being done, it looks like. The Watertown Volunteer Center has requested $2,500, which is consistent with a number of years in the past. There's also,
We had a lack of.
There was domestic abuse was mine. next.
okay, domestic abuse was in there. That's the 12,000 that they require in
Yeah,
addition to what we pay out for fees.
Yeah.
Okay. Social services?
Social services,
Okay,
yep.
that's the Watertown Volunteer Center. Historic preservation, is that what you have next?
Yep.
Okay, that is the Compesca Heritage Museum, and they're requesting $8,000, which they have requested the last few years. And then we have historical sites, and that is the Millette House, and they have requested $6,000 again this year, as they have in the last few years. And they have also given you their balance
Financials.
sheets to show where their funds are being spent. All right, so then we have recreation, Boys and Girls Club.
Yep.
So they have requested $19,500 for the club, an additional $77,962 for the JDAI youth program. Because that grant has ended. It's not, well, I shouldn't say the grant has ended, but we have used up all of our grant applications. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's basically correct. In fact, we're now in that where we're paying for it now because we're in the second half of
We
this year.
budgeted $30-some thousand for the last half of this year that we will be paying out to them monthly. So you'll see that with claims next week.
Right, and that's why the line 429 is bigger for 2022. Because I guess we didn't have the separate line.
The Zoological Society has requested $25,000. That's up $3,000 from last year.
I don't think I had that.
Page
It should
54,
have been right after.
right after Boys and
Boys and
Girls.
Girls Club.
I didn't have Boys and Girls Club either.
Yeah, that's all Boys.
Oh,
and
that's
Girls.
all
Yeah.
they're the ones that had all of the.
Yeah.
sheet.
So
Okay.
you can keep going, then you'll hit the zoo.
Yeah.
Yep, and that is $25,000.
And they sent explanations of many sheets.
And they also sent a balance sheet.
Yep.
Tourism, Glacial Lakes Prairie Tourism, $750 is what they request from the county annually for a number of years. Economic Development, Focus Watertown, $45,000 is their request. There is also a request letter for that. And that would be it.
All
Those
right.
are what we call the nonprofits. Those are items we are not required to fund, but the board has chosen to do so for a number of years.
Except for the waterfowl one, probably.
The waterfowl one, right, that should have been with the mandates and not the nonprofits. See that, but
All right, so we're moving right along with the budget request.
we have not had budget yet with the state's attorney's office. I'm not sure what her schedule is like. We'll also not review the commissioner's budget.
Cindy, I would like to request that the coroner come in and review his budget with us as well. He hasn't done that yet, and there's a pretty significant increase in his budget this year. Because I know that he's requesting some
Yeah,
additional
no, we haven't
items.
heard from his yet.
Okay. He backed it off from what he originally intended, but let me look at it and see how big of.
It's the same what we have. or
Okay,
not.
so he budgeted 52,000 in 2022 and he increased that to 68,000.
Right.
Um,
So, and I know he's got some things in that budget that have
Okay.
never been included,
That's
so I'd just like him to come in and
That's a
give us.
pretty
what
big
we have.
increase.
Do you want to get a hold of him? You want me to contact him?
I can get a hold of him.
Okay. Find out what works for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
One of these Tuesdays. All right. Well, because sometime in August, because then we start our hearings.
September, the first meeting in
September.
September, correct, yep.
Okay, item number 15, action to approve claims for payment.
Nothing today,
All right, automatic budget supplements.
nothing today.
Okay. Number 17, action to approve personnel changes.
These are two personnel changes that came in previously, and these are part-time employees who did not meet the number of hours. And then you took action last week to change the process for, that was the change Natalie brought you from the personnel policy. But when you took action, you did not indicate if it was retroactive to July 1st when everybody got their step increases. So I don't know what your intentions were. These are two part-time employees who would qualify for a step increase per the new regulations.
Did we talk about that prior to July 1st?
No,
That change?
there was no discussion. There was no discussion of when it took effect. And it's not anything in the policy either. So that's my,
I would make a motion that we,
If I can chime in?
okay,
What was that?
Just, Madam Chair, just,
Yes, go ahead, Lee.
so we took action. Yeah, we took action. We took action last week. I mean, I'm supportive of the, I mean, we took the action to kind of correct this problem of you had good employees there for a long time, but they were just in a situation where they couldn't accumulate the adequate number of hours in a 1-year period of time. So we changed the parameters a little bit on the period of time to allow them to get a step increase. And, you know, basically keep good employees, good part-time employees. So, you know, I kind of understood that we're going to go back and fix it, but you're right. We didn't really say that.
no, there was no wording as to when this would take effect.
I'll
So
make the
then,
motion that we make it retroactive to July 1 of 2022.
okay, we have a motion by Johnson then.
Second that, to clear
Act-
this up.
So I looked on here with the original motion. I don't know if we don't have to worry about that. It was made by Gable and Johnson, I believe, but we probably don't
I
have
don't
to
know, do
worry
you need
about
that on
that.
the agenda? Is that something you could take because it's not on the agenda or just?
Can we do it
classify
under like
personnel
old,
changes?
yeah, personnel
Okay,
or old
what was the motion?
business?
The motion was by
Me,
Johnson,
Johnson. Second,
Waterman,
to
okay.
install the policy as of July 1st, 2020.
Make it retroactive to
Okay,
July
right.
1st.
Okay,
The ones that.
Madam
yeah.
Chair, if I could, just by way of discussion, I mean, since both of these personnel change forms have the effective date is July 1st, that's effectively what we're voting on anyway.
Yeah, but we need to make it formal, I guess, is what we need to do. So anyway.
it's in the
All right,
record.
yes. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
all right, so then we need a motion to approve personnel change step increases for Jessica Johnson, a part-time corrections officer. We'll go from step 1 to step 2, $23.18 per hour. Lori Mills is a part-time correction officer. She'll go from step 5 to step 6, $25.59 per hour.
Right,
So move.
motion
I'll
by
make the motion.
Johnson, second by Gable. Any comments or questions? Not hearing any, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Travel requests,
None today.
none today. Public notices, possible quorum of commissioners. Obviously, we have the 4-H Achievement Days going on, August 1st to August 4th. National Night Out for Law Enforcement, August 4th, Uptown Watertown. I believe that was from what, 5:30 to 8, was it? I don't exactly remember. Sioux Valley Commissioners Association meeting Wednesday, August 10th in Madison, and the SDACO and SDACC Annual Convention September 12th and 13th in Pierre. Anyone have any other possible quorum of commission?
Well, it might be on the 13th, which is a ways away. That's that bridge
Yeah.
dedication.
Right. All right, I don't see anything else either at this time, so, okay. How about old business? I guess I would just like to mention when we were going through some of the budgets last week, and some of them were a lot higher and dollar with some improvements to infrastructure that we typically don't see. And the hope is that we can use ARPA dollars to cover those, but they had to be put into the budget. So I guess I just thought we should probably explain why some of those increases are there, and we are not being careful with the taxpayer dollars, but that's our intentions, is to use ARPA funds. All right.
Just, Madam Chair, just to piggyback on what you said, so, technically we're using the ARPA funds for personnel as we approved today. And so that, which frees up other funds so that we can cover some of these infrastructure projects.
Right. Yes.
The question that I would have though is do the timeline coincide? Like they have to submit their budget for next year now. Do we put it in the budget hoping that can use the ARPA funds?
We're using the ARPA funds
For the
for salary this
salaries.
year.
Correct.
That's gonna free up our cash
Right.
that we
Correct.
have for next year. So yes, they have budgeted, like Steve, his budget increase was huge, but
Yep.
it's because he budgeted for HVAC, basically,
Mhm.
systems, and
Yep.
he did include that, yeah. And I estimated that we were going to have additional cash
Mhm.
at the end of this year to cover.
Well, that's exactly what I was
Yes,
driving.
yes,
Yes.
my estimations include the extra cash we will have at the end of this year because we're using ARPA funds
Sure.
to supplement salaries.
Right. So that
Yes.
frees up our
Yep.
general, and
Yep.
that will carry
I answered
over.
that question. Thank you.
Yes,
Yep,
it's a
so-
little over, was it 5.2 million, I believe is
Yep.
what our total appropriation was for ARPA funds, so yeah.
So we've received that already.
That whole amount is not going into the general fund, though. It's only about 4 million that'll go into the general fund because part of it's going into the highway fund
Mhm.
for their salaries too, so.
But that is why those increases are being anticipated, because we will have that availability to
We're
be able
not,
to.
yeah, we're not spending the cash that we had budgeted for this year because of the ARPA money, so.
All right. New business. Is there any new business? How about anything for the open?
Well, the one thing that I would have is that Natalie and Cody from the county health office and we interviewed several candidates for that opening. And we did select a candidate, but we have to go through the process of doing a background check and so on and so forth. So I'm assuming next week that will be on the agenda. So
I have not seen anything yet. Nobody has provided me with anything,
no,
so.
we had some good candidates, but we have to make certain everything is okay and
All right,
the job is done.
very good. Item number 23, action to enter into executive session. Do we have a need today? I don't believe so. Okay, I look for a motion
Move to
to
adjourn.
adjourn. Motion by Johnson. I'll second that. Okay, second by Gable. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, we are adjourned.
Can somebody end the Zoom meeting, and that'll close the YouTube stream as well.
Or you can grab Alyssa. I told her we'd call her if we needed her. I'll try.
It should be easy to do.